I describe it as violent and a violation of the law in many places. I discussed with the president this morning several things that we are dealing with under the department in different operations. We did discuss the Insurrection Act. He certainly has the constitutional authority to utilize that. My hope is that this leadership team in Minnesota will start to work with us to get criminals off the streets. Remember, we are there in surged operations because of the largest fraud scheme in American history. We had people stealing from taxpayers, stealing funds away from the most vulnerable individuals in this country, people who needed mental health services, developmental services, autism, daycare. Instead, individuals came in, much from the Somalian community, and stole dollars from those people who needed it and put it in their own pockets and enriched themselves. Did it right under Governor Walz's nose, and we believe that he didn't just know about it, that he may be complicit in it as well.
The U.S. president has dangled a rarely used constitutional power and made it clear he's ready to use it. Donald Trump threatened to invoke the Insurrection Act, a federal law that would allow him to deploy U.S. military forces for domestic law enforcement in Minnesota. The Minnesota Unrest follows the highly controversial fatal shooting of 37-year-old Renee Good by an ICE agent last week, which ignited citywide anger and nationwide debate over federal tactics. In a Truth Social post, Trump aimed his ire at Minnesota state leaders, accusing them of failing to control professional agitators and insurrectionists who he says are attacking ICE officers only trying to do their job. The Insurrection Act, enacted in the early 1800s, gives a U.S. president authority to deploy the military domestically under specific conditions, typically in times of rebellion or civil disorder. Trump has repeatedly suggested he may use that power to federalize the National Guard or bring active duty troops onto U.S. streets to quell protests or enforce federal law, a deeply controversial idea that has alarmed civil liberties advocates and some elected officials alike. The Department of Homeland Security says it has made more than 2,000 arrests in Minnesota since last December as part of its largest immigration enforcement operation ever, even as local leaders condemn the approach as destabilizing and harmful. Tensions remain high. Minnesota's governor, mayor, and civil rights advocates have sharply criticized federal narratives about the shooting incidents and questioned the need for an overwhelming ICE presence. As Trump's threat hangs over Minneapolis, questions mount about whether the use of federal military power could further inflame unrest or bring an uneasy calm to one of the most volatile flashpoints in America's ongoing debate over immigration, federal authority, and civil protest. Another night of chaos unfolded on the streets of Minneapolis on Wednesday, and another shooting added fuel to an already explosive situation. A federal officer shot a man in the leg after authorities say he was attacked with a shovel and a broom handle during protests in Minneapolis. The shooting has intensified fear and anger across the city, coming just 1 week after an immigration agent fatally shot a woman, an incident that continues to spark outrage. Smoke filled the streets near the scene as federal officers wearing gas masks and helmets fired tear gas into a small crowd. Protesters responded by throwing rocks and launching fireworks as tensions spiraled. Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey sharply criticized federal authorities, saying their presence is creating chaos, not safety. It's certainly not creating safety, Frey said, noting that a large share of recent shootings in the city have involved ICE officers. The mayor praised peaceful protesters, but warned those engaging in violence that they were taking the bait, urging them to stop and go home.
At 6:51 p.m., Minneapolis police received a 911 call reporting a shooting on the 600 block of 24 Avenue North. Preliminary information indicates that there was a struggle with a federal agent in front of the resident. During the struggle, the federal agent discharged his weapon, striking one adult male. The adult male then retreated inside of the residence, where he remained inside and refused to come out. Eventually, federal agents made entry into the residence, and the individual was brought to an ambulance where he has been transported to the hospital. There's a crowd gathered in the area, and we have called for mutual aid from the Minnesota State Patrol and Hennepin County Sheriff. The crowd is engaging in unlawful acts. They have thrown fireworks at police officers, and at multiple times, gas has been deployed. Police are attempting to disperse this unlawful assembly at this time. I urge anyone that is at the scene to leave immediately.
We have ICE agents throughout our city and throughout our state who, along with Border Control, are creating chaos. It's certainly not creating safety when a huge percentage of the shootings that have taken place so far this year in Minneapolis have been by ICE. So let's be very clear. I've seen conduct from ICE that is disgusting and is intolerable. And for anyone that is taking the bait tonight, stop. That is not helpful. Go home. We cannot counter Donald Trump's chaos with our own brand of chaos. And I have seen thousands of people throughout our city peacefully protesting. For those that have peacefully protested, I applaud you.
Earlier in the day, hundreds of demonstrators, many of them students, took to the streets in a coordinated strike, demanding immigration and customs enforcement be withdrawn from Minnesota. Footage shows protesters chanting as they marched toward the Minnesota State Capitol, holding signs reading "ICE out now" and "Immigrants make America great." Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison joined the demonstrators at the Capitol steps, delivering a fiery speech condemning ICE and the Trump administration's immigration policies. "They are breaking the law," Ellison declared, blaming the federal enforcement surge for violence, injuries, and the death of a community member, 37-year-old Renee Good.
You may wonder, what is an attorney general? The attorney general is the people's lawyer. That means I'm your lawyer. That means I represent you. That means it's my job to stand with you in court and fight legal battles, and that is why I sued the Department of Homeland Security 2 days ago. We sued them because they are breaking the law. All colors, all cultures, all religions, for you willing to stand out here and demand justice means everything. You have the right to protest. You have the right. They are breaking the law. Now let me tell you, this escalation, this surge, which is resulting in not only people being beat up, not only people being thrown to the ground, not only people not going to school, not only people not going to work, but it's resulted in the death of one of our neighbors, Renee Good. I want you to remember her name. She's a martyr. She's sacrificed. She's been taken away from us, and we will never forget her. We'll always hold up her memory. Are we right? This lady, she died when she was trying to help the most vulnerable neighbors in our community. That is when she lost her life, when she was giving of herself to protect others. And that is what you are doing today. You're not afraid of the cold. You're not afraid of ice. You're standing up strong. And I am so incredibly proud of you.
Earlier, the state of Minnesota, along with the cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, filed a lawsuit seeking to halt federal immigration operations. On Wednesday, U.S. District Judge Catherine Menendez declined to immediately stop ICE operations, saying she needs more time to review the case. The judge set deadlines of January 19 for the federal government and January 22 for the state to submit further arguments. As protests continue and legal battles unfold, Minneapolis remains on edge, caught between escalating federal enforcement and a growing movement demanding it come to an end.